Hey there, welcome to my podcast. I'm your host Roz, owner of Roz Chandler Fitness, and I'm so glad you're here. This is the podcast where I chat to local inspiring women, share insights and have real conversations. Whether you're tuning in for the first time or you've been with us from the beginning, get comfortable, grab your favourite drink and let's dive in. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button so you never miss an episode of the podcast. So, hello, welcome to another episode of our podcast, and I'm really excited to introduce you to Kirsty, who's a great friend of mine, who is here to talk about what she does. So I'm going to hand over to Kirsty and let her introduce herself and a little bit about what she does. Over to you.
Hi, Roz. So I'm Kirsty. I live down the road from Roz, and we've known each other for many years through friends, and now sort of more directly, which is wonderful. And I'm a mother, a daughter, an aunt, but I'm also a HR consultant in my professional life. So my life is just kind of full of all those different roles, really.
Yeah, absolutely. We do wear a lot of hats, don't we, as women?
Yes.
Definitely. So what is it that, how did you first get started in your field of HR? Tell us a bit about that.
So it was many years ago now, I realise. I keep sort of saying, 20 years ago, but it's more like 30 years ago because I've just turned 50. So back when I was 20, I'd finished an admin course or secretarial course at college after my A-levels. And I started working for a lovely company. And the boss there, he kind of saw that I was capable and had potential. And after a few years of working there as a secretary, as an admin, as office manager and all those type of admin roles, which are wonderful and I love them, I wanted to leave to go and do a degree or something, go and study. I must have been about 25 or 26, I guess, at the time. I can't remember now. And he said, no, don't leave. Because we were only a small company of about 20 people or something. He's like, don't leave. He goes, I'll pay for your studies. But you carry on working here full time and study in your spare time. And I was like, yeah, I was young and energetic and everything. So I was like, yeah, I'll do that. Wonderful. So I went and did a postgraduate diploma at UWE in Bristol. I did that for a couple of years. So I was working full-time, studying part-time. So that was hard work. And then I remember him saying, look, I probably won't have a job for when you qualify because we're not a big enough company for a HR person, but, we'll see where it goes. But actually over that time we did grow, and I was able to use my HR skills, which was wonderful. And then in the end, I think we got to about 60 or 70 people in the end. Wow. So all my skills were tested and I carried on doing more general things. So I managed to build quite a general background in HR and I was very fortunate to do that. Yeah. So
right.
Big thanks to him for sort of helping me do that. It was wonderful.
Yeah. It's sometimes you just need the right people in your life at the right time, don't you?
Yeah.
I went to do my exercise to music because I was in an office job. And it was only because of Sam who really encouraged me to do it. And I didn't think I had the confidence or anything. And he was the person. So it's having someone there, isn't it? Fighting your corner as well.
Yeah, definitely. Absolutely.
Yeah. Can change the course of your life, can't it?
Oh, it can. My life would have been fine, but I probably wouldn't have taken the leap. Maybe I would have, but he made the leap a lot easier. Which was great. Well, I don't know if I would have stuck at it. I don't, you just don't know, do you? No. All these what ifs, but yeah, I'm very grateful for that, and that's how I got started in it, really. So yeah.
So obviously now you run your own business. So how did that come about?
Yes. So So I was working for that chap, and then he sold his business to GE, General Electric, which was, I don't know, at the time was like the fourth biggest business in the world. So I went from a tiny, small business of about 60 or 70 people to one of the biggest companies in the world. And I stayed there for 5 years, or nearly 5 years. It was great. But it was very different. I wasn't made for a corporate environment. It just wasn't my cup of tea at all. I'm glad I did it because I got the experience of it. So I left. I was going to actually study to become a counsellor,
right,
and sort of do HR on the side. But then, and I did start training for that. And then I was looking for sort of other work to do on the side, but actually I couldn't find anything that was really interesting me. And I hate to say it, but the companies I was applying to, not to say they would have offered me a job anyway, but it was all very, and this is no disrespect to the wonderful male species, but it was all very sort of male and very grey and suited, and I just didn't want that. I wanted more of a diverse people around me and environment around me, which is what I was used to. So yeah, I was in a bit of a flux. I wasn't quite sure what to do. In the end, a friend of mine, we were sat in the garden, and I said, "Oh, I don't know what to do." And I was thinking about going out on my own and shooting. And I kept going, yeah, well, if I fell, at least I've had a go. And if I fell, well, at least people can say I didn't try it. And I kept talking as if my idea to sort of go it alone was going to immediately fail. And then she looked at me, she goes, it might actually work. And that hadn't crossed my mind.
Yeah.
So bless her. And you might have been one of those people telling me that as well. Honestly, I can't remember now, but I distinctly remember being sat in the garden with my friend George, and her just looking at me going, it could actually work. And I was like, oh my goodness, it could. It could. It might. Because I always go straight to disaster and catastrophe, which was my usual state of mind. So then I decided to go it alone. But actually, I signed up to a franchise arrangement, much like I think you did, Roz, when you first started out.
Yeah.
And I found that much more helpful. So that's what I did. To answer your question then, I can't quite remember what the question was.
You did. You absolutely did. So obviously you're very, very busy now, which is amazing. And obviously you've turned it all into a really positive business. And sometimes when I send you messages, you say, oh, I'm super busy, and I think that's great that you you've really built it up into something really good. So what's a typical day like for you now?
A typical day, so very typical morning, although so I've got 2 children and my partner Jamie. We live a wonderfully boring life, and that's the way I want it to stay. A few doors down from you, Roz. So it's getting up in the morning, making sure everybody's okay. Although that doesn't take much effort anymore because the kids are at secondary school, so they just get themselves ready and off to school, really. I probably bumble around the house a bit. If I'm feeling up to it, I might go for a lane swim in the morning, or go out for a walk. That's always in my mind that I have to do. It doesn't always happen. And then I just come down. I've got an office in the back garden, and I come down to work, and that can be a combination of things. So I've got quite a few clients now. So I look at my emails, answer any emails, prepare for any meetings I've got that day. Sort of look at anything that urgent that comes through. Of course, with HR, you never quite know what's going to come through. Some emails are quite spectacular of what employees or employers have been up to. So sometimes I have to drop everything and kind of deal with people issues.
Yeah.
But it's kind of checking the emails, preparing for the day. There's a lot of admin that goes with HR. So I'm often doing a lot of admin for my clients, contracts, managing their HR systems. And then it kind of gets, the kids come home, we go and say hi to them. I like to eyeball them if I'm not at a meeting or whatever, so I can make sure they're okay when they walk through the door. Then back down to the office. And then it's dinner time. So it's all very typical. And then very often, being my own boss, I do end up back down in the office in the evening.
Yeah.
So working. So the days are long. I know since just before Christmas, I've probably been doing 50-hour weeks, 60-hour weeks sometimes, working at weekends. Because, of course, you're not just doing your job, you're running your business as well. So there's all the bits that go behind that. So I'm just trying to manage that down at the moment. So that's a real focus, just to kind of get on top of that workload, because I want my life to be a little less work, a little bit more fun and rest.
Yeah. It's hard. It's so hard. You just absolutely kind of described my day there. It's like you kind of tell the kids all right, then you go back, then you do, because even though I'm out most evenings, there is so much background admin work that people just don't, I was up at 5 o'clock this morning working on my admin before I did a class at 6:30, and then back to admin, quick bit of breakfast, back to admin. So I don't think people sometimes appreciate, do they, when you run your own thing, that's what it takes in the background, and your mental capacity as well. I mean, how do you stay motivated to keep that going?
I admit I don't always. Some days I find really hard, and I have in the past I've crashed, and really struggled. And I think it happens to the best of us. I expect a lot of people listening will resonate with that. You probably, I don't know, at times we sort of crash and burn a little bit.
Yes.
But I enjoy what I do, so that helps motivate me. And of course, on top of all that other stuff, I'm of that age now where I've got aging parents. So I lost my dad a couple of years ago. My mum's in her 80s now, so I'm sort of doing a lot with her, with the assistance of my sister as well. James' parents are getting older. So, you're kind of squished. So there's not much time for you. And even when you do have time for yourself, you're kind of thinking about other people as well. Like, oh, maybe I should be with so-and-so, or maybe I should be doing that. So that mental load is real. But it's stay motivated because I want to run a successful business. I want to do it for my family. I want to do it for me. I enjoy my work on the whole. So you just kind of get up and get on with it, really. I also, you might have some questions, Stacey, that sort of come onto this, but this sort of crash and burn thing. I read a book a while ago called The Power of Now, which I've talked to you before.
You have,
Roz, by Eckhart Tolle. And that's really helped focus my mind as well, in terms of ways of improving the way I sort of think about things and how I approach things, rather than the chaotic style I used to sort of take. So that's how I stay motivated.
Yeah, it's fantastic. And it is, like I said, it is hard. And you do have to have those moments, don't you? Because I actually managed to get into, to have a back massage the other day because I was feeling really tight across my shoulders, and I haven't had one for ages. And I absolutely loved it. I had one of the best nights sleep ever after that. But all the time I was there, I was just thinking, oh, maybe I should be. And it was lovely. But there's that little element of guilt creeps in, doesn't it? Like, oh my God, I'm taking some time for me and I shouldn't be here for this half an hour, really. And I think I need to maybe go back and read that Power of Now book again.
See, I did exactly the same, Roz. A couple of weeks, maybe 3 weeks ago, I did exactly the same. I'm going to have a back massage. So it's like a half-hour massage down the road from here. And I hadn't had one in years, really, apart from asking the kids to like rub my back and stuff, which they're very good at. But I had my head through that hole in the bed, and I was like, oh, I must do that. I must do that. And I was like, no, stop. Just focus on the now.
Yeah.
Just enjoy now, And I had to really focus my mind to kind of just chill out and just, focus on the fact I was having a back massage, and it was just half an hour for me.
Yeah. We need to get better at that, I think, don't we? Next time we go for a little walk, we need to tell each other not to be so hard on ourselves, I think. So what's your sort of guilty pleasure then, apart from back massages? Do you have anything that you kind of like to do?
So what are my guilty pleasures? So I'm going to start doing more back massages. That's for sure. I'm going to start building those back in. I love a chunky Kit Kat, so I like to have those close to hand. I lose myself in puzzles. I sound so exciting, don't I? 30 years ago, it would have been like going to raves and stuff. But now it's like, find me a complicated puzzle. But actually, a few years ago, the whole mindfulness thing came out. And everybody was like, right, sit on the chair, plant your feet on the ground, and all this stuff. And I remember rolling these initiatives out at work, and I would really try, but I could never get my head around mindfulness. And I would sit there for, and try and do this mindfulness practice. I read all the sort of books about it and watched videos about it. But my mind would never switch off. And then I discovered puzzles, and I've realized they are my form of mindfulness, because I completely switch off, because I am so focused on them, and I will be lost in them. I could be lost in them for hours if I let myself. And at first I thought I was just like aging too fast, but I thought, no, this is my form of mindfulness. I'll never be able. I'm not one for yoga. I've tried that. I tried that with my mum, and she was really good at it. My mind was all over the place, and I just would fall out. I just wasn't good at it. But this, I guess it's because I'm doing something, but I'm just focusing. I get like super focused on it, and my mind is really peaceful. So that's finding time to do puzzles. Is one of those, and just being spending time with my mates. I'm going out on Saturday with some friends. We've been friends since school, and we're going to go for one of these. What's it called? Oh, my brains. Where you've brunch, but it's not where you have bottomless brunch. But it's at like 3:00 in the afternoon, so it's a bottomless tea. I don't know.
Yeah, spending time with friends is a really important thing, isn't it? To make sure you have that little bit of downtime as well. So I've been asking all my guests some quick fire questions, just a little bit of fun. Just 3 quick questions. So, coffee or tea?
Neither. I don't drink hot drinks. I'll have a Diet Coke though.
Cool. Morning person or night owl?
Morning.
And favourite travel destination?
Italy.
You've just come back from, haven't you? So
I have, yeah. Spent a couple of days in Florence, which I'd promised myself I would do since I was a teenager. And then I turned 50 and thought, maybe I should do that now.
Well, it's been an absolute pleasure talking to you, my lovely friend. Where can people contact you if they've got business and they need some HR support, if you're still looking for clients, that is?
So, yes, if you're part of a business that needs HR support, my company's called Face to Face HR Chippenham. There's a website, Face to Face HR, and you can find me on there, or you can find me on LinkedIn under Kirsty Duck. There aren't many of us out there. And I did find, I think it was a Kirsty Duck in Australia. And we used to exchange messages for a little while. That was weird. And she was in HR. Very strange.
Very weird.
I'm sure that was her name. Yes. So don't mistake me for her because she's over in Australia.
Oh, well, thank you so much, Kirsty. Absolute pleasure. You always make me smile. Have a brilliant rest of the day. Love talking to you. And I'll catch up with you soon.
Oh, thanks, Roz. Bye.
Thank you for joining us. I really hope you enjoyed the episode. Look out for our next episode where I will be chatting to Sophie from Woven Earth. See you soon. And as I always say, deep breath in and you're done.